welcome back. Andrew here with Ambient Endeavors, and today we're taking a deep dive look at what has more or less been my backline amp in the studio here the last few months. It's the one sitting behind me here, the Victory Amps V40 Duchess MKII, and it's an evolution of their flagship Duchess model with some really nice refinements, some additions in the feature set, and some just nuanced improvements that make this amp really versatile and really useful and powerful in a lot of different settings. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. Please hit subscribe below if you're new so you can keep up on all the future videos here. And you can go back in the back catalog and you'll see this amp show up in a few different guitar reviews and pedal demos that I'll link below too, just for kind of corroborating evidence and different context there too. The Duchess MKII features 42 watts of tube power from 2 EL34 power tubes and 3 12AX7 preamp tubes. So you have plenty of headroom and clean tone in this package here, especially in that high power mode. It also has a 3-band EQ that's placed right after the first gain stage. So the tone stack feels very Fender-y to anyone who's played those amps. We're going to dive in first to some of those clean sounds in this Duchess MKII and just get a feel for the range of the tone stack as we go through treble, middle, and bass controls to just allow you to hear kind of the subtle nuance and the range of each of those knobs in clean settings. I'm going to be playing a Fender Ventera Telecaster Deluxe with Cuneife wide range pickups here, and let's check it out. I want to talk a little bit about this whole setup behind me here because I think there's some magic in these little lunchbox cabinets that Victory has designed. They're tiny, they're really small, they're under 15 pounds, super lightweight and portable, and I gotta be honest, when I got them into the studio, I was a little bit worried that they'd come across as kind of boxy or small or narrow, and in some way they've designed these cabs to have plenty of that punchy power that you'd want from a speaker cabinet. a large sound in comparison to their really small and compact form factor. And so these Lunchbox cabinets, they fit perfectly, as you can see, with the Lunchbox heads. They're available in different colors to kind of match the different Victory models. But I've been really impressed with that Lunchbox cabinet. It sports a 12-inch Celestion 7080 speaker and just pairs pretty well with this Duchess Mark II, delivering those punchy cleans and plenty of power and body and life for a really small and portable cabinet. One really great thing about the Duchess Mark II is that it has both a volume and a master volume control, which can be really useful both in the studio and live. It allows you to just fine tune and find those sweet spots in volume and saturation that work for your context. If this is a live setting, maybe you've got some volume constraints from your sound guy, or maybe you just want some overdriven tones but don't want to blow away the people in the front row, you can use that master volume to kind of attenuate the overall output of your amp while using that preamp volume to find the right gain, saturation, tone, or texture. So we're going to walk through just the range of the combination of those two controls and see how you can find some great tones from those really sparkly clean sounds into some rich kind of breakup saturation. Let's check it out. As we move through the feature set here, we start to see some of the improvements and updates that you get in this Mark II, starting with a 3-way voice toggle. So in the up position here, you have a pretty traditional Fender-y scooped mid profile. And then as you go to the second and third toggle, you start to kind of hear the amp transform a little bit into a tweedy sound or even a British leaning sound with more present and prominent mid-range. It just kind of changes the voice and character of the amp overall. And so it's a nice way to kind of get a variety of mid-range focus and character, all while having that pretty American leaning circuit platform. So let's hear how each of those 3 voices sound as we toggle through them. If you're interested in a real deep dive about kind of the evolution of this amp and the genesis of the circuit and designer notes and all that, I would encourage you to check out some of the other videos on this Mark II series. Martin Kidd from Victory does a great job just kind of being candid about his process in designing these amps. But what I think they did a really great job of is really giving you a lot of different control of the mid-range voice in this really Fender leaning amp to allow you to tailor it or kind of broaden its versatility and its usefulness to you outside of that really traditional scooped Fender clean sound. So the next feature I want to talk about is the mid kick, where you again get one more option in that toggle. In the up position, you have just sort of a default mode, and then as you toggle down, you get more mid-range presence, again, a kind of a boosted mid-range in that setting, with the third position giving you a little bit more presence in the top end too, to kind of allow some sparkle and air and life to the signal there too. So let's walk through the 3 different modes of that mid-kick control and give you a feel for what that does to the circuit. The Duchess Mark II now gives you 2 different built-in digital reverb options, one being a vintage mode, which is a more spring sounding reverb, the other being a modern mode that's a lush, beautiful hall reverb. And I have been impressed with the sounds of both of these modes. And I think on the whole, having a 2-knob built-in reverb with 2 different modes like that is a pretty great thing to have in an amp like this. I have fairly low expectations for built-in reverb, just based on experience or the fact that I tend to use pedals for my reverb, but both modes have been really useful, and I've found the modern, that hall mode, to be a really beautiful addition to those clean sounds from the Duchess. So we're going to walk through both of those modes here and give you a taste for what they sound like at subtle settings and deeper settings here now. On the back of the Duchess, you have 3 different speaker outputs that allow you to run it at 8 or 16 ohms, depending on your speaker configurations and the cabs you're using. You also have an effects loop if that's something you find useful in your rig and your setup. And you also can add a foot switch to engage or disengage that reverb circuit on the amp. The last thing I want to talk about is that low power mode. And I don't want to fool anyone into thinking that this is going to transform this amp into a quiet bedroom amp or make dramatic volume adjustments or attenuations. It doesn't. It probably drops it by a few decibels or so. It's still very loud and present in the room here, but what it does give you is an alternate feel that adds a little bit of compression. It really brings that headroom down a little bit to just kind of tighten things up and pull them together, compress them a little bit. So it's definitely more of a feel thing than a volume thing, I would say, but it can do a really nice thing to just kind of glue everything together and hold it together in a tighter kind of way. So we're going to demonstrate that, give you a quick example of the difference between that high power and low power mode, and then also engage some effects to show you how the amp can take some delays and reverbs and overdrive here. Check it out. So that's the Victory Amps V40 Duchess Mark II. It's the Lunchbox style head and their Lunchbox 1x12 cabinet. A really killer, compact, lightweight, kind of grab and go setup for folks that are doing a lot of gigging. It's obviously really useful and great in the studio here too, as I've found over the last few months. And I've just been really enjoying it. I love the clean tones that you get that really remind me of those classic Fender sounds. But with the voice and the mid-kick controls, you get a lot of range and versatility as you broaden that mid-range and kind of redefine it a little bit to shift the amp into more British territory or just into kind of more warmth and low mid presence there. So there's a lot to love about this amp. The built-in reverb is great. Definitely go check it out, or check out the line of these new Mark II circuits from Victory and these little cabs. Really compelling and really fun little circuits. So thanks for watching. Drop any questions or comments you've got below in the comments, and we'll chat about this amp or anything else you're curious about, and we'll see you on the next one.